You have questions? We have answers. Welcome to the Therapist Question Box with your host, Miss Lindsay Schiss.
Welcome back to another episode of the Therapist Question Box. We are here to answer your toughest questions, so ask away. Today I have with me Kathy Kinghorn. Kathy, thanks for being with us.
It's great to be here.
And Kathy is the owner of Therapy Utah, and so it's a real pleasure to have you here with us. So today I'm actually so happy that Kathy decided to come on with us and was willing to, because this is a tough question. It's one about betrayal and one about reintegrating sex after betrayal. So let's jump right into the question. But the reason I'm happy you're here is Kathy's an expert on this. And so really happy to have you help navigate this really tricky topic. Here's the question. My partner had an affair last year and we've been in therapy and doing the work. But now that we're trying to be intimate again, I either shut down completely or I feel pressure to perform. I want it, but I don't know how to feel safe in my own body. How do we start to rebuild our connection and sexual connection without re-traumatizing me?
Wow, I mean, you can just feel the heartfelt desire in that question too. This is real lives and real people struggling.
Yes.
And there's a lot of different approaches, I think, to that answer. And honestly, maybe a little backstory first is it sounds like her body is still in the freeze state. She's still in survival. And so her body is looking for danger anywhere and everywhere because the person that she thought wasn't dangerous became dangerous. Now it sounds like he's doing great work. A year into it, and she's saying, hey, he's in recovery. And I'm noticing this about me. And so this question really is about her saying, this is on my side. And what I hear in it too is this how it's going to be forever?
Right. I really think what you said is super important, that she's in a freeze state. And when that happens, we can try to think our way out of that, but our body is saying, not safe, right? And when you said that, like, maybe she feels like she's going to be here forever. And that feels wildly discouraging and upsetting, right? So can we speak to that first? Like, let's speak to the freeze state.
Okay.
What happens when your body is in a freeze state?
Well, when your body's in a freeze state, it's using a really specific part of its brain. It's using that survival part of its brain. So your logical part of your brain could say, you know what? My husband I just saw him make a sincere effort. I saw him ask a genuine question. I heard it. And then he turned around a little too quick, and my body remembered how he used to avoid and walk away. And I just felt myself shut down. So her part of her brain that's the logical, like, hey, I can see in the here and now that he's doing these things for our marriage. Her body hasn't caught up with that information yet. So her body could just freeze just at the simple action of him maybe turning around too quick. And he could have just heard something or remembered to turn the stove off, right? It was just, so once it's in that freeze state, the only message it's getting is there is danger.
And when there's danger, there's no way she's performing or being able to engage in a sexual activity.
Right, because your body goes, not only is there danger, find the danger. And the danger feels like it's inside of you. So so you can get that message like, well, it's me. I'm doing something wrong. He's trying, I'm not trying. So you can feel like you're the danger or he's the danger. Or the relationship is the danger.
Gosh, no wonder this is so complicated. Can we just say that? Like, holy cow. I mean, who's the danger here? Is it me? Is it him? Is it our body? Like, what's happening?
And our brains like to come to conclusions quickly. It's like when you drove here, Lindsay, you've been doing this podcast for a while. Your brain didn't really have to think about it.
Right.
Your brain just went, I know this. I'm going to fill other things in with the place that held that knowledge. So our brain, the reason I bring that up is once she sees or her brain perceives a dangerous act, like I'll give you an example. It just happened last week with a client. One of my guys came in and he said, Kathy, I know that my wife has told me I don't give her my full attention and I'm making every effort. So I happened to be outside when she drove up. I was looking at my phone. I saw her drive up, and I immediately put my phone in my pocket.
Oh boy, I know where this is going. I'm already ready.
Yeah. And she's sitting there, and she said, I saw him do it so quick that I just knew he was hiding something. And he said, I couldn't figure out what was going on because in her free state, she couldn't speak. And that does happen sometimes. Our body will conserve energy, and speech takes energy. So she wasn't playing a game. She wasn't having him try to mind read. She literally couldn't speak. Her body had froze. Now she got out of the car. She walked in, and he said he thought something had happened somewhere else, not then. He thought it was somewhere else. And she got to the kitchen, and she said, why did you put your phone in your pocket so quick? And her brain already knew the answer because it saw the danger. It solved for the danger, and then it was asking about the danger.
That's so good. I love that it saw the danger. What was the second one? It solved for the danger, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. When we have sense danger, our brains sense danger, that is number one, right? And then our brains are meaning-making machines. So it's trying to, okay, then what is it? What happened? He obviously put his phone away because he's trying to hide something. But knowing that, looking back now, she was in a state of freeze. What do you do when you're in that moment and you've lost capacity to have that conversation, but your body is shut down? You may not even have the words or capacity to say, hey, I'm not okay. I'm in a state of freeze. Often we don't because we're feeling all of those emotions. What do you suggest?
Yeah. Well, one thing, a really big thing, again, our brain is autopilot now. In freeze, it does a lot of things automatically. Raises our heart rate automatically. We don't tell it to do that. It just does. It conserves it shortens our breath because deep breaths take energy. So it's doing everything it can to conserve energy. So one thing is just truly to just notice, how deep can I breathe? Because like this listener said, we've been in recovery a year. So it sounds like she's had moments where she's not in freeze, where she probably could freely take some really nice deep breaths. So her body is remembering what it felt like to not be in freeze. And so if you can remind your body, hey, I'm going to just try to breathe a little deeper, then you just kind of lean into it and consider, how's this feeling? Oh, it's a little tough to breathe. Okay. If I'm in freeze, and one thing I've taught, my clients to ask in honesty to each other when needed is, how do you see me right now? And there's only one of two answers they can give. Either I see you as the enemy or advocating. So you're either my advocate or my enemy. And if this particular client, this couple, knew that question. They had been taught that question. So when he came in, and the tone that she said, why did you put your phone away so quickly? Before he did anything else, he asked her with sincerity, how do you see me right now? Not as judgment, not in a defended posture. So what he was doing is, a lot of times we need help when we're in the freeze state. So if we can remember that question, and luckily my client was truly in recovery and he genuinely meant, how do you see me right now? And she said, as the enemy. And he said, how can I help? And
we just stop right there. I mean, that is huge.
Yeah.
If you have a partner that can say, how do you see me right now? And the other partner can feel safe in asking that.
Yes.
And safe in answering.
Yes.
I mean, that requires such a level of, I trust you, that you're not going to fillet me like a fish when I say that I'm afraid because I see you as the enemy. Yeah. Even though you're my partner, you feel like the enemy right now. I mean, that is a beautiful way. I mean, explaining that to a couple and having a couple utilize that is beautiful. Yeah,
because he, in answering, how can I help you right now? He's advocating for her. He's advocating for them. And he's doing it with sincerity because he caught up. Now he caught up that he had put his phone in his pocket.
He knew what had happened, what had triggered him.
And he said, she didn't say anything. And she's tracking with what he's telling the story and she's agreeing. She said, she didn't say anything. He said, honey, I promise you that I'm paying attention to not paying attention to you. And you've asked me when you're here, when we're greeting each other, pay attention. I want to be first. I don't want to be second behind your phone. So I literally heard your car and I saw it coming up the driveway and it just clicked in my brain. Pay attention. And I shoved it. You're right. I shoved it in my pocket quick. And so she was like, give me a few seconds here. And she knew to breathe. And she knew.
They must have a good therapist, Kathy. Here's why I'm saying that. For him not to get defended.
Yeah.
When she says, you're the enemy, and he's going, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm trying to do what you ask, and here you're upset, and I'm trying to do what I ask. Like, that's a person who's holding space for somebody else.
It is. And he would be the first to tell you it took him a while to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. and also, as it does, right? Yes. As you do.
Yeah.
But also the fact that, like, she could also say, I needed to take a minute. I needed to breathe. I was dysregulated. I needed to take some time and get clear about what was going on for me. I mean, those are two people, by the way, who have done some really good work.
Yeah. Right. And I think this listener that called in, I think they must have done some good work for her to come this far a year later, and he's doing some good work as well. Yeah. And so, it can, those old actions, we quickly react to our partner, and some old triggers can just as quickly happen, and they can as quickly diminish if we work with them in the right way. She had to ask herself the question, what's real right now? Now, sometimes it was in this same couple, I could go another situation where it was backwards, and he had to say, what's real right now? And she had to, in her own mind, not verbally, she couldn't be verbal with him yet. What is real right now? And she went, I saw him look me straight in the eyes, and it felt different. There's a felt sense there. After you've been betrayed, generally there's a felt sense. And she thought, what rings true is he has been working on paying attention to me. And so what's real right now is there's some trust that's been built, that his behavior triggered an old response. But what's real right now is that it was actually a solid push for us, not against us.
Isn't that so interesting?
Yeah.
That felt sense, and that it was actually turning towards the relationship, towards the partner, right? So good. So understanding when we're in freeze is so important, right? The second part that you said that I want to come back to that's really important is you said, I listened to this listener question. I hear this, and I wonder if this listener wonders if this is ever going to feel different, right? It's been 1 year. We're both working recovery. We're both trying. And yet this listener still feels that way. What would you say to that?
Trust, we all trusted at one point in our lives. Babies trust. Until they're taught otherwise, little ones trust. We all have felt trust, barring some outliers of horrific childhoods. As human beings, we've all felt trust. And so what I would say to, the 90% of us that have felt trust over extended periods, whether it's with a parent, a friend, a teacher, a mentor. And sometimes humans always fail us. We fail each other in spectacular ways, like in ways that you're like, wow, I could not have laser-like focused that failure on their trauma if I had tried.
Isn't that the truth? Amen. And sometimes we choose partners that are really good at failing in spectacular ways, right?
Yes.
Or like you said, laser-like trauma, like going, that hurts your partner in just that amazingly poor way.
Yeah.
That, congratulations, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so that repair after trust, if you think about it, it's likely that you have a relationship that has been repaired after somebody's made a mistake up to actually breaking trust. So it does happen. And here's the good news, I guess. Once addiction or once an affair, that level of betrayal has entered a relationship, you can't go back to a mediocre relationship. A lot of people, I think, actually can have mediocre relationships as long as the betrayal or addiction isn't there because they just kind of go about life. But once betrayal or addiction comes in, you have to go all the way up or you go all the way down. There doesn't seem to be a middle ground. So like they're a year into recovery. She's on that upward momentum of, we're not just going to get through this and back to where we were. She's going to move forward, and as she continues in recovery and they're both learning skills, that it will be a relationship like they've never seen before.
Can I just stop right there? That feels so hopeful, right? I mean, that it's a relationship like she's never known before, right? It's not getting back to the status quo. It's like marriage or relationship 2.0. This is a different relationship because you can't go back to what it was. That marriage has died.
Yep.
That relationship is now over, and now we both need to elevate our game, right?
Yeah, and in fact, one sign of it that it's solid on the guy's part is this is a marker for me as a therapist, that I know he's really truly on the road to strong, healthy living. We've even gone a step farther than recovery. It's just healthy living. They'll come in and they'll say, Kathy, I got a question for you. They'll say, sometimes I don't feel like having sex with my wife, and I don't want to hurt her feelings. And I promise you, it's not about my addiction. I can't show up in a healthy way, and I don't want to hurt her feelings. And I don't know how to, if I tell her that, she's going to think, well, I'm looking at something, or I'm, thinking about somebody else, and I don't want her. But what do I do with that? And first of all, can you hear the empathy for his wife?
Absolutely. And the honesty. Like there's integrity in that.
Yes.
Easily you go, okay, I just do it because it appeases her and then it's not a problem. But he's saying, no, I want to be honest in the way I'm showing up.
And he's realized too that the sexual intimacy between him and his wife, that next level is where he wants to be. It's no longer just something to get an outcome. It's just no longer that. It's more about the intimacy part of it, And so that every one of my guys that's in long-term recovery, they'll get to that question because, again, that's the beautiful next level after betrayal, where both partners are saying, how do we figure this out together? How do we both figure this out?
So I love that awareness that this relationship is not going to be the same. And how do we figure that out? So what do you say to the guy who says, you know what, it's not about the addiction. It's not about her, but I want to show up in honesty and I don't want to make her feel bad, but I really don't feel like it. I mean, I'm hearing that is the same question. Like, how do we reintegrate that? And maybe it's more communication. Maybe it's more understanding. It's certainly deeper than communication. However, it's really getting honest with self, right? Like, this is what's going on for me, what's going on for you. What else would you say in addition to that would help that situation? Because the listener is saying she's the betrayed partner. You're saying this is actually the partner who has betrayed, right? So it's on both sides we're struggling to figure out how to reintegrate sex.
Right. Yeah. Right. So what I would start with is, talking about, or even in your own mind, if you feel like sometimes we want to process things a little bit ourselves. For me, I like to process myself a bit before I talk to my husband. He likes to just go.
Yes,
just
he does.
Go.
I know him. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm like, I got to think about, so either way, but where are the private moments showing up in your relationship other than sexual intimacy? Like, do you guys both have a joke that you share? Do you both have an eye roll in certain situations that just only you and your partner knows about? Like, where are the private moments in your relationship outside of sexual intimacy? Because sexual intimacy ought to be private.
Sure.
And so with that's kind of the culmination of privacy. You should have evidence. Like maybe, 2 hand squeezes and we know we're done with this daughter and talking to her today, and that's a private moment between 2 parents that are going, hey, we're both tapped out and we agreed 2 hand squeeze and we're done with this daughter.
Did you just tell us one of yours? But now we know it was
you just
private.
have to choose
now
which
it's
daughter.
Not,
Yeah. And so it's like, do we have a private joke or do we have these other private moments? Do we say to our partner, I'm struggling. I want to be in this group or something, but I just feel like I don't fit in. And you're safe with them. Not just that they're not going to go and divulge, but you're actually safe with that privacy. Because, in betrayal, there's secrecy. So the one that betrayed has to learn or be re-taught what privacy is. Because it's not secrecy. So I would first look, and again, it sounds like she's saying that there is recovery there. First look at where are the other private moments showing up?
And intimate moments. That's what I'm hearing too, because it's not just private moments, but they're connecting moments that increase safety. Would you agree with that? That it's not just private, but it's intimate, safe moments that feel like, oh, you're my person and I'm your person. It's not just sex, right?
Yep.
It's other moments of safety and engagement.
And also for me, Lindsay, I really truly believe that when you talk about sexual intimacy or just relationship, when you're in a committed relationship, the goal isn't really just safety. It's security. Think about when you feel secure. Like you lock your doors at night or whatever. There's a security that we have in certain situations and we feel safe in other situations. Like I feel pretty safe here. I could stay or go. I feel safe. But do I feel secure in this relationship?
So it's like safety is the base level, security is the next.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so getting to security, think about when you've really think about maybe hopefully with this listener on her wedding night, and that however long the marriage was, all the things that you thought this is what a marriage is going to be, she probably felt really secure. Like, oh, I can laugh at his joke. I can, just say this dumb thing and he laughs with me, not at me, So look for also, along with privacy, how secure do I feel?
Yes.
Because safety is situational, in my opinion. I can feel safe in a lot of different places. Honesty, you can be situationally honest, but integrity is to honesty like security is to safety.
I like that. Yeah, that it's kind of a way of moving in the world, right? Feeling secure in self and where you're at is a way you move throughout the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Versus I feel safe because I just locked my door.
Yep.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. So increasing that sense of security.
Yeah.
And you do that by creating intimate moments. What else would you say?
I would say, and depending on what type of relationship skills you have, if you're both avoidant, this tool is going to hurt a little bit, but it really is talking about what you'd rather avoid talking about. Like maybe it was really touching to you when your partner called you babe, and he never does that anymore. But you remembered, that I remember when that felt good. And you don't want to share that with them for a lot of different reasons. But sharing, hey, it'd mean a lot to me if you started calling me that again. Or just the language you use, like, is it triggering if he says, hey, do you want to do it? Maybe that's not. Maybe that's like, I like it. Like, I like that kind of lightweightedness to it. Or, hey, do you feel like making love? Like there's a difference in the language, but really talking about how does it feel when I start by rubbing your back? How does that feel for you? And so you're really talking about the setup, right? The foreplay. And the foreplay can go for a long time. And I don't mean in bed, the foreplay. I mean, like, it could be 24 hours,
Sure.
You're holding hands in the car on the way home. You're laughing together. You're connecting and seeing each other. And so really talking to each other about, hopefully she has some memories of tender moments with him. And I bet you, I would solidly bet that he is unaware of most of them. And it's not at all. So I'll ask my guys, they'll say the weekend went great. And I'll say, what happened to make it great? Because they just think, oh, Kathy, don't mess with this. It just went great. Please don't make me talk about it. And I call it the winning the lottery. I just won the lottery. It just happened. It went great. Please don't make me unpack it. But the reality is, I'll say to her, he'll say, I don't know. We went to dinner and it was nice. And he's like, I don't know what went great.
Leave me alone.
Yeah. And she'll say, you literally left your phone in the truck. We went to dinner and you left your phone in the truck. Oh, I did? Yeah. And he's clueless. He's like, so truly, and she may think, Kathy, you're kidding me, right? Because I've told him 100 times not to be on his phone when we go out to eat. Please tell him 101. Just say, here's my tender moments. When I try in my mind to come closer to you, and I try to pick up and choose the memories where I felt your tenderness, I remember this moment where I had been up all night and the last kid had thrown up the last time on my shoulder, and you literally came in with a warm towel and just said, I'm sorry. And you sat on the tub while I cleaned myself up. He didn't even help clean her up. Right. But he was with her, as close as he could to the vomit spewing shirt. But you know what I mean? He wouldn't have thought that, this gets me emotional, that sitting there with her was a memory that was so strong that's what she went back to. And it's because he was in the weeds with her.
Yes.
And
awareness. That's what somebody that comes to bring you a towel in the middle of the night after the last child's thrown up, that's someone that is actually having empathy and sees their partner and says, gosh, that's been a rough night. I see you and you matter. And here's a towel. That the moments those moments have to happen, right?
Yep.
And it can't just be in the bedroom. They have to happen outside to create that security, like you said.
Yeah.
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 So many good thoughts, Kathy. I really appreciate the tips that you've given and the insight that you've given. Is there anything that we've left out as with this listener that you really feel like we need to touch on?
I would just say that really the formula to trust is time, consistency, and empathy. So it's going to take time. They're going to have to be consistent. Whoever betrayed is going to have to be consistent with healthy behaviors over time and with empathy towards where their partner is. If she's in a freeze state, a really beautiful thing you could do is just say, can we breathe together? When we're in trauma, we're real isolated. Our experience is isolating. They can be, when they're actually betraying, they're smiling at you. They're maybe doing all these things. So you're isolated. So when you find out and the trauma hits you, you're very isolated. So a really important thing a partner can do is say, could I breathe with you?
And you're literally taking a deep breath in together and exhaling together, right? That's called co-regulation.
Yep.
Pretty amazing, actually, what that can do. It's interesting. You talked about breathing a couple times. I think sometimes we just think, oh, breathing's so basic. Yeah. It's not a big deal. It is the first line of defense to get your nervous system back into regulation. It just is. And if you can do it with somebody else and breathe together, it's actually amazing what can happen. It feels almost too simple.
Right? It really does.
It does. Yeah. So excellent. Well, I loved what you just said, time, consistency, and empathy. Those are such important things. I loved the idea that you said, you gave the example of the towel and just that's a partner who sees their partner and cares and does something about it. That you're building intimate moments outside of just sexual intimacy. And that increases not just safety, but security. And that's what we're looking for is where is that security? It's not just moments of safety, but moments of security, right?
Yeah. And you know what, on that note, let me just sneak in another one.
Yeah.
Is because she did mention too, that she feels like she has to perform or she freezes. That question that I asked a little while back, what if she can just ask herself in this moment, what's real right now? And if the answer is, I think I can share with him what's my experience, and she can say to him, I feel like I need to perform right now, and he can hold that and acknowledge and say, I'm sorry. and he can be empathic towards her. And sometimes it's just, I'm sorry. It could be something else. But what I'm saying is if she can, if there's enough trust built and she can let him know about what's going on right now, and he can understand that and be there with her, then her system, if it's allowed to relax, it will choose into the right decision for her. And the right decision may be just to be held. That might be the right decision. It may also be to have sex. But until her system can calm down, the right decision for her heart won't be known. The survival decision will be the only one that's known.
And I think it's an important reminder that taking care of self and saying, I need a minute. This is not working for me. I'm not okay. I'm in freeze. That requires a minute. That requires a beat and some self-awareness and to say, you know what, it's okay. In fact, it's normal and it makes sense. And I would imagine, as you said, it may not be a sexually intimate moment, but it might be a holding intimate moment where your partner is just choosing to hold this listener. And I think, boy, that might be more connecting than anything.
Right.
To just be held and know that feels secure and safe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Such a beautiful reminder. Thank you so much. I really, I appreciate this listener's question. You can feel the vulnerability and the pain behind it as somebody that has gone through betrayal. And I just really appreciate the honesty. And, it's hard. It's hard to get vulnerable and ask those questions. So I appreciate our listener doing that. And Kathy, appreciate your insights. So many good insights here. So we hope that you found this episode enlightening and that it was helpful. And, if this is an episode that resonates with you, we are so grateful. And if it is an episode that resonates with somebody else that please share it, because that is our goal, is to help those that are needing help with some of life's greatest challenges. And certainly this is one of them. So we appreciate you listening. If you like this podcast or others, please rate and review. It's what helps us get the word out there and continue to grow and spread information and help in the ways that we can. And that is what we are here to do. And until next time, take care.